Vikings versus Packers, Monday Night Football. This is a big-time, crucial game for the Minnesota Vikings, maybe depending on how the Rams fare on Saturday against the San Francisco 49ers. So if the Rams lose on Saturday, then the Vikings clinch a playoff spot. If the Rams win on Saturday and the Vikings end up beating the Green Bay Packers on Monday night, then the Vikings clinch a playoff spot. And I know that mathematically speaking, the Vikings still have a chance to possibly win the NFC North division. But aside from having to win out against Green Bay on Monday night and then Week 17 against the Chicago Bears, you also need the Green Bay Packers to somehow, some way lose to the Detroit Lions in Week 17, which I don't see happening. Unless my man Kyle Sloter starts, then all bets are off. So basically, all I care, if you win the NFC North division, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, great. But all I give a damn right now about for the Vikings is to simply clinch a playoff spot. Now we get to Monday Night Football, and let's start with Aaron Rodgers. I thought that Aaron Rodgers is losing a step takes last year was a bit unfair when you consider the new young receivers he had to work with, and coming off the season prior where he missed 9 games, I thought Aaron Rodgers played pretty well last year anyway. This year, it's a different story. He does hold on to the football far too long, far too often. He does look a lot more indecisive than before, where he was a lot more confident. And the thing is, what's so different about Aaron Rodgers now is that prime Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback that I have ever seen in my life in terms of throwing his receivers open. It was so bad to where defenses were utterly hopeless. You basically, as a defense, had to hope and pray that Aaron Rodgers just screwed up, or the wind out in Lambeau Field just sailed the ball midair just a little bit far to the left where his receivers couldn't catch it. I compare it to Steph Curry and his MVP years, because once the dude passes half court, it's a quality shot for him to where if you're on defense, you have to simply hope that he misses the shot. And Aaron Rodgers, in terms of that magical touch that he had on his throws, it's just not there anymore. So now he's a lot more reliant on his receivers at this point in his career. And the last time that Aaron Rodgers threw for at least 250 yards was back in Week 8 before Halloween against the Kansas City Chiefs. So the solution? The secondary has to play tight coverage. Try to get Aaron Rodgers to be indecisive and hold on to the ball longer than he wants to. Try to get some coverage sacks, because if you can't play tight coverage at a quality level against Aaron Rodgers, yes, he is technically on the decline, at least for this year, but he's still good enough to find the open man if there's enough separation and cause some damage. And then lastly, in terms of the secondary, the best option that we have to guard against Devontae Adams is Trey Waynes. Xavier Rhodes, don't make me laugh. Mike Hughes, you don't want that smoke. Mackenzie Alexander, absolutely not. Trey Waynes has to guard up against Devontae Adams, because if nothing else, the best trait that Trey Waynes has as a football player, and it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, is play-by-play amnesia. Whether he wins or loses play after play, I can count on Trey Waynes to legitimately compete for 4 quarters in a game. And then another thing you want to do to try to minimize the damage against Aaron Rodgers, I talked about this in the preview against Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. You need to plug in the AA gaps, because when Aaron Rodgers, when he gets antsy and he doesn't know what to do and he holds on to the football, if the line of scrimmage, if the middle of the line of scrimmage parts open like the Red Sea, he's going to take off and use his legs for 6 or 7 yards, definitely a first down. So you want to try to minimize that damage there. Lastly, for the Green Bay Packers offense, if you're the Vikings defense, you have to slow down Aaron Jones. What's really frustrating in playing the Green Bay Packers is, right, even if you're able to quote unquote shut down Aaron Rodgers, right when you get comfortable, if you're not on your P's and Q's at all times, Aaron Jones will make you pay. Then we get to the Green Bay Packers defense. They have basically a bend but don't break defense. And what I mean by that is they've got players on the defensive side of the ball. Blake Martinez, Jair Alexander, Kenny Clark. He's coming off of back-to-back strong performances against Chicago and Washington. But they are bottom 10 in the league in run defense. So first I want to know, is Dalvin Cook, is he going to play? If not, I still think you can do enough to get by with the bruising bowling ball type of running style from Alexander Mattison, along with the dynamic playmaking ability of Mike Boone. So you need a healthy balance between the two if Dalvin Cook is unable to play. And then also the secondary for Green Bay at times can look like some Swiss cheese on the deep routes. What's crazy is the Green Bay Packers defense is tied for 7th worst in passing plays allowed of 20-plus yards. And then, if you really want to get spicy, the Green Bay Packers defense, they are also tied for 2nd worst in passing plays allowed of 40-plus yards. So go for the deep ball from time to time. And Kirk Cousins, you got to hit your receivers. So I'm expecting big games from Stephon Diggs, B.C. Johnson, and Kyle Rudolph. Stephon Diggs, we cannot have drop passes, especially if they're going to lead to interceptions, because we talk about bend but don't break defense for Green Bay. The Packers defense, they are top 10 in takeaways and points allowed. So this is going to be a tough game. I do think the Vikings are going to win this game, but another factor in why I think the Vikings, honestly, even on a neutral field, I think the Vikings are just a better team right now than the Green Bay Packers. Both defenses are bend but don't break, but the difference is the offense of the Vikings is clicking on all cylinders. The offense of the Vikings, led by Kirk Cousins at quarterback, is better than the Packers offense led by Aaron Rodgers. But the key factor in this game, it's at US Bank Stadium. That home crowd, all you fans out there, you Vikings fans out there, y'all need to bring the heat, bring the noise, bring everything you've got. I've been out to Minneapolis to watch Vikings games in attendance 4 times. I've been at US Bank Stadium twice now. The energy in that stadium is electric. It's absolutely crazy. I think it's going to be too much. Bottom line, I expect the Vikings to win in a close game. Final score 24-20. Let me know your guys' thoughts. We do this 3 times a week. Mediocre Best Sports Podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy, Facebook at Realistic Randy. The next podcast, unless the baby isn't here yet, so unless the baby, she should be here, damn it, before Monday night's game. So either way, if nothing else, the next podcast will be on Tuesday, reacting to the outcome of Vikings versus Packers. We'll see you then.